Well, hello everybody. We are what, 24 hours? No, we're about 36 hours into the first most amazing patch we've had in a long time, and you know it's about time for those subsequent nerfs to come out because there's a lot of ridiculous stuff going on in the games. Don't you think?
Yep. It's been a little ridiculous. There's been a lot of complaints, and it looks like... Well, okay, I should say there's been complaints, but there's also been a lot of people saying they're having a lot of fun on the patch. It feels like old Dota or Heroes of New World, something like that. But there have been complaints, and that is what this patch seems to be addressing, is the negative side to a lot of these new changes.
This is patch 7.23a.
Yep.
And we'll go ahead and start with the general changes. Neutral drops will now always drop only 3 items per tier rather than having a chance to get more. So that's interesting.
I think it makes sense. I found that in the games that I've played, people have just slots upon slots of items. The base is being littered with items. Like it seemed like there was just too much being dropped for sure. I heard some criticisms like, okay, we shouldn't reduce the chance of the items dropping because then what's the point of the items in general? So I really like this solution. This is going to make it more of like a timing based thing. It's like, okay, 5 minutes has started. Let's try to get our 3 items. So this, this is really cool. This makes a lot of sense. I've heard a lot of complaints that Dota was a lot about timings, and this is making it more back to what it fundamentally is.
Yeah, it's also kind of interesting because it's sort of like a way for people to be like, all right, get out of the jungle. Like, you don't need to be hitting jungle creeps anymore. You already got your items. Like, let's move along with the game. Stop
Right.
sitting there just hitting creeps, hoping for your 1% drop.
Yep.
And speaking of that, neutral drops no longer have an end period in terms of when they can drop, just a start period. So this is kind of an interesting change.
Yeah. So basically, if you didn't get your 3 tier 1 items, you'll get them eventually. Like, you'll always get your 3 items. There still is a little bit of RNG in that, obviously, but you're not going to have those games where the enemy team just happens to get 5 items. I was just playing a game on Storm Spirit, and I killed 1 jungle camp, and I got a trusty shovel, and I dug up 3 bounty runes in a row on Storm Spirit with a bottle. So I never had to go back to base, and it felt a little interesting, especially because I kept getting items.
Wonderful.
So this makes it a little bit less RNG. I'm a fan of that.
Yeah, it does say that higher tier items will always roll first. So if you are up to tier 2 because it's 15 minutes, then you'll get the tier 2 items first, but then eventually maybe drop the tier 1s. I think that's what it means, right? Higher tier, I assume, is the higher number, not the
like you're not gonna you're not gonna be 7 minutes into the game and then have the same chance of getting a dog item, because
right.
That wouldn't make any sense. I mean, generally speaking, you're probably going to have you're probably going to have those early items by 70 minutes. But in the case that you don't, you're not going to be hindered by not having those items yet. You're going to still be able to get the best items first, which is just in response to this first change. And then it says neutral drop rate change from 10, 5, 2.5, 1.25. So having to 9.3 or 9.63.
Right. So the first item is slightly less chance to drop, the next item is slightly more chance to drop, and then the final item is slightly more chance to drop. So it's like they're kind of trying to be like, all right, here, get your 3 items and then move along.
Yep. It makes sense. Once again, going back to the timing thing, I think this makes Dota closer to what it fundamentally has been for years, and they've actually changed a lot of the items as well. I mean, naturally 63 items get added to the game. There's going to be some imbalanced items.
First item that's changed, Iron Talon cooldown increased from 20 to 25 seconds, so just slightly nerfed in terms of farming efficiency.
Okay. I mean, I don't think the Iron Talon has been that game breaking. So
I don't think it's that amazing. Seems kind of random.
Yeah.
Ocean Heart is the next one. Health and mana regen has been reduced from 10 and 5 to 6 and 3. So pretty significant nerf there.
So that item legitimately was very good. You could just pop into the river for a couple of seconds, get to full HP, full mana, and then just pop back into the lane. That felt pretty nice. Like, I was playing Lycan and I got this, and I just kept walking into the river to use wolves and then walking out when my mana regenerated. So it's that's definitely an item that needed to be nerfed.
Yeah, still pretty good on roamers and probably on mid heroes too, since you're spending time.
It's still good.
Also, the stats have been increased by 1 to kind of compensate for that regen nerf. The next one is Keen Optic. Mana regeneration has been reduced by 0.25 from 1.5 to 1.25. That's it.
Yeah, I mean that item seems okay. It's just a mini ether lens. Mana regen is definitely a scarce resource, so a lot of the time these items could just be broken based on only the mana regen. Funny enough, even without their other things attached to them. So yeah, probably a needed nerf, just considering how scarce mana regen is in Dota.
Yeah, and it was 0.25 lower than Voidstone, which is a 900 gold item. So definitely, I think a well-deserved nerf a little bit. Repair Kit is the next one, moved from tier 2 to tier 3. This item was ridiculously strong for holding bases, and it kind of makes more sense to have it later on in the game anyway.
Right.
Instead of giving it so it's like, oh, tier 1 towers never die because you have a Repair Kit. It's like, okay, it's kind of meant for holding high ground more than anything else. And
yeah,
makes more sense.
We had so many patches to make a game so they weren't prolonged like that using the tier 1s. Right. So it doesn't make that much sense to have that item be a tier 2 item.
Yep. Next one is Helm of the Undying, moved from tier 2 to tier 3.
That's a good item, man. That's a really good item.
Yeah, I've been killed by people after they've died many times because
it's so good. These frontliners that can build it, you just run in, die, get all your spells off. It's really good. I mean, it's Wraith King, Aghanim Scepter, Ultimate. I mean, except on just one hero, but a lot of the time that's all you need for like a free jungle item that was tier 2, for God's sakes.
Yep. All right, here's a big one. Tome of Aghanim removed from the game.
A lot of people hated that one.
I think
a lot of people hated that.
I think that's pretty fair. It was cool, but it was also ridiculously overpowered. I got it on Warlock at 15 minutes. That's not okay.
Remember when I got it on Storm? We had the one fight that I wasn't able to use it because I didn't
almost did that too.
Yourself. but then I did use it, and we immediately won a team fight 4-0 or something like that, just because I pulled everybody in. Yeah, that's a game-changing item, man. It's like, hey, you win the next 3 team fights. Cool.
Yeah, it's way too good, especially for the tier that I was in. Imp Claw has been nerfed as well. Critical Strike has been reduced from 1.6 to 1.4, and the damage has been increased from 18 to 20 to sort of counteract that. So it's less good in the long term, but it's a little bit better early on because of the damage.
Yeah, I got the Imp Claw. It felt really good, and it felt really good to hold on to, like you said, long term because of the crit strike.
Super good on like Kunkka or something like that. Ridiculously good on Kunkka.
Yeah. Oh god. Yeah. I mean, almost any right click here, which makes you kind of like old bounty hunter. Yep. So yeah, this was I think a pretty needed change. This makes it more of like a replaceable item going into the late game.
Yep. Vambrace has been moved from tier 3 to tier 2, and the stats have been lowered to just the components. This makes a lot of sense.
This makes sense, yeah.
I got you would never have your stats at that point.
Exactly. Who's going to have bracers at tier 3? Like,
yeah,
what the
exactly.
heck? I got that. It's like, okay, I guess I'm buying bracers. All right.
30 minutes into the game. No
thanks.
Yeah, awkward. Clumsy Net has been moved from tier 3 to tier 2, and the mono regen has been reduced from 3 to 2. So the mono regen is really good on this item, but the rest of it is pretty mediocre. Could be very good on a Skyrath Mage if you find it level 6 and you're running around, but I think it's kind of a random item.
Yeah, this is basically like the one item in tier 3 that was just bad.
Yeah.
And it makes sense that it's moved to the tier 2, less useful items.
Yep, Mindbreaker Mana Break has been reduced from 30 to 20, Magic Resistance has been increased from 15 to 25, and Mana Steel now only has half the effect on creeps, so you can't just like farm neutrals to have infinite mana.
God, dude. A friend was playing a game, and he had a PL on the enemy team, and the PL was losing horribly. Picks up a Diffusal Blade, and then gets the Mindbreaker from a drop as well.
Disgusting.
Goes to one fight, just wipes them. Just completely wipes them.
That's disgusting. How many lances can you throw? Just ridiculous.
Lances? Wait, what does the Mindbreaker do? I'm not seeing it on here, actually.
No, I'm saying because you just have infinite Spirit Lances, just because you're stealing mana so much.
Oh, I see. Okay, I thought it was reduced cooldowns or something. I was like, oh, I have the wrong item. It's really good. It's really good.
Yeah. Timeless Relic. Debuff Duration Amp has been reduced from 35% to 25%, and Spell Amp has been increased from 10 to 15. So 15% Spell Amp. That's quite good.
It's pretty good, but Debuff Duration Amp is way better than Spell Amp is, because you just have these like chain stuns that couldn't chain stun before. It's like cooldown reduction. It just breaks Dota. So reducing that to 25% is, it makes a lot of sense.
Agreed. Witless Shaco now provides 1,000 health and minus 400 mana instead of percentage based.
What else does that do?
It's just that.
Grants. Oh, okay. So it's not percentage based anymore. Oh no, no, it is. I think it is. I think it now provides this as well as 28% max health.
Oh, okay. Let me look at it real quick.
If I'm not mistaken, because why wouldn't they say?
No, they they replaced.
Okay.
It used to be percentage, but it was like 28% or something like that max HP, and now it's just 1,000 flat.
That's a tier 4 item, man. That kind of sucks. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not great.
It's not that good.
It's not great. I mean, 1,000 health is quite a bit. But like, why do you want minus 400 mana on anybody? It seems like pretty double-edged sword. That's a meh item to me
compared to the other tier 4 items, especially.
Yeah. Spell Prism no longer has an active. Now provides 20% cooldown reduction, plus 12 stats, and plus 4 mana regeneration.
Damn. I definitely did think this item was going to be a lot better at first, and then I got it in a game, and none of my teammates could use it, and it felt useless. So it does feel like largely based on the draft, and drafting to get a random item kind of sucks.
Sure.
And just having a hero that can use it on your team feels really lucky. So changing this to just straight cooldown reduction makes a lot of sense, because who doesn't want cooldown reduction, really?
Yeah, true that. And 20% is not anything to scoff at.
God, no way.
Illusionist Cape, tier 4 item, creates an image under your control, increases the outgoing damage of all units and illusions controlled by the hero by 10%, and the change is now increases damage of your player-controlled units as well. So
Lycan,
yep,
Lone Druid, cool. Makes it more viable for more heroes. I think a lot of this is removing a lot of the RNG involved, where it's like, oh, we have an illusion hero, and we get this illusionist cape.
Right.
We win. Now it's like, okay, well, we have a necro hero. We have a Lycan who has wolves. We have, some other, some other hero. These summons are now good.
Yeah, and you know what? Before we get on the next one, I just want to say, there's been so much hysteria about all these items and how RNG it is. It's breaking the game. It's ruining Dota. It's like, you got to have a little bit of faith, because they've been so good throughout all the years about just, they throw a bunch of stuff at the wall, see what sticks, and then they heavy nerf over and over and over until it actually fits into the game, or they remove it, like Aghanim's Tome. They're gonna make this work, otherwise they wouldn't have done all the work to do it.
Yeah, of course. So
the leveler no longer has a cleave or splash effect, now has plus 25% demolish. Interesting. So 50 attack speed plus 25% bonus to building damage, which is what it used to do in Dota 1. The leveler from Dota 1 used to do extra. It used to have demolish. So now it's actually the item from Dota 1.
It does seem like a nerf, to be honest.
Oh, for sure. The cleave and splash was ridiculous. You put it on Sven or Dragon Knight, and they have like a 500 AoE cleave or something like that. Ridiculous. Yeah. All right. Seer Stone, cast range reduced from 500 to 450, and vision range reduced from 800 to 450. So
that's a good item. That item was way too good.
Yeah.
I definitely think when I first read those numbers, it seemed too much. Like 500 cast range.
To be fair, 450 is still very far, but 800 vision reduction is much bigger.
I think 450 is probably still too much.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
We'll see.
Okay, Mirror Shield, the stupidest item in the game, has been
the best item in Dota.
Yep. Probably still quite good, because it no longer has a 75% chance, instead has a 4-second cooldown, but at the very least, you can't just...
you're not immortal.
Exactly.
That's great. You don't have to worry about somebody getting immortality from a kobold.
Yep.
At 70 minutes into the game.
Exactly.
Good stuff.
Woodland Striders, health regen increased from 50 to 70, so a buff to a tier 5 item. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting, because that's also just possibly the second best item in Dota.
50%.
It gives tree walking and 50% move speed, and it unlocks max movement speed. Come on.
70%. It's not just 70 HP regen, by the way. It's 70% HP regen. So whatever you have, an additional 70% of that. All right.
Are you sure?
That's what it says in the tooltip.
Wow.
So 70% HP regen.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, tier 5 item stuff. Book of the Dead cooldown increased from 75 to 90. Duration reduced from 90 to 75. So they swapped it so you can't have 12 units up. Or if you're an Arc Warden.
I can't believe that needs to be stated. Don't worry, guys. There's no longer 12 necros at once. It's
Also,
like, well, shit. No,
fixed,
duh.
fixed previous summons not disappearing. So no more Tinker Infinite Necro or Necro unit.
Yeah, that was a programming bug, like for sure. Just to deal with the fact that there's like 6 necros instead of 2.
Right.
Like that is for sure just that wasn't supposed to be like that.
Phoenix Ash, the final item that's been nerfed, no longer gives 30 all stats. Health restore reduced from 100% to 50%. Now refreshes your non-ultimate abilities upon triggering. So it's actually like the egg to some extent, but a little bit.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I like that a lot now. I honestly thought that was bad before.
Mm-hmm.
It was just an Aegis.
Yeah, it was just a worse Aegis. Well, not worse, but it was just an Aegis that's kind of boring.
Yeah.
Like
now it's really cool. That's awesome.
Yep. All right, on to the heroes. Anti-Mage, Mana Break reduced just across the board at all levels. I
didn't realize he still had this Mana Break as well as the percentage Mana Break. No wonder that he's had such a high win rate.
Yeah.
Good riddance.
Yeah, way too much. The max level is 40 now instead of 64, so he's still Mana burns a lot, but it's not as much as it was.
Yep.
Crystal Maiden base mana regen has been increased from 1 to 1.5. I feel like this hero is just getting infinite numbers of buffs right now.
Well,
however,
until you read the next part.
Right.
Magic resistance reduced, mana regen also reduced.
Yep.
This makes so much sense. She has a 60% win rate since the patch. People are picking her AFK jungling, farming their team items, and just giving magic resist and mana regen across the board. It's ridiculous. So this is, it's still a god tier hero, in my opinion.
Yep. Super good. Position 5, position 4 even potentially.
Yep.
Drow Ranger multi-shot cooldown reduced from 32 scaling to 20 to 26 scaling to 20. So just more often you can use multi-shot. Marksmanship aura has been increased from 25 scaling to 35 to 30 scaling to 40. That's the agi that it gives, I believe. Agility bonus, so 40% of your agility is granted. Marksmanship damage has been increased as well from 70 to 90. 40 scaling to 60 to 70 scaling to 90. So buffing the proc. Lone Druid, Spirit Bear base attack time has been increased. So he attacks a little bit slower now. Talents, level 25 talent reduced from minus 0.5 Spirit Bear attack time to minus 0.25. So basically just nerfs the amount of entangles that you're going to have.
Still possibly the best hero in the game because it's too much right now. It's way too much.
Yeah, he got 16% increase in win rate since the patch?
Something like that, it's not okay.
Morphling Intelligence from 13 plus 1.1 to 15 plus 1.5, so more mana for Morphling. Base Strength has been increased by 2. Attribute Shift stats have been increased as well. So plus 3 at level 1, scaling to plus 9. And who would have thought that you need to buff Morphling after the last patch that we went through? But
I would think so. I think Morphling's a trash hero, but the Morph Shaker...
The Morph Shaker, yep.
That's a different hero altogether.
True that. And his talent from plus 10 agility to plus 12. Outworld Devourer, intelligence increased from 28 plus 3.5 to 30 plus 4.2.
Wow.
Still lower than Pugna, but that is extremely high.
Yeah, that's high. And then the strength gain buff too. So this hero is just chunking out the damage, and he's going to be really tanky.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Sanity's Eclipse mana per charge has been increased by 10 at each level. Sanity's Eclipse multiplier increased as well by 0.1 at each level. I think they thought that Sanity's was maybe just not... It was too bad compared to how it used to be. It still feels pretty strong. I feel like the hero still feels pretty good, although
especially with these buffs,
not as ridiculous because you can't flash farm. Razor level 10 agility reduced from 10 to 15 or 15 to 10. Eye of the Storm passive shock damage has been reduced by 20, 10. And
that's fair. This is another hero whose win rate has just skyrocketed since the patch. It's ridiculous. Although I'm very excited about this next one. I'm very excited about this.
Big buffs for Snapfire right off the bat. Base armor increased by 2. Strength gain increased by a full 1 per level. That is unbelievably huge.
Yep. The cast range on the Fire Snap cookie increased. Fire Snap stun duration increased by 0.5 at max level. The little shredder fixed damage per shot also increased to be 45 damage at level 1.
That's like 200 damage.
Dude, that's like 200 damage for 75 mana. Are you serious?
Yeah, that's nuts.
Mortimer Kiss's damage has also been increased. I think this is one of the best abilities on the hero. Probably the best ability on this hero.
Oh, the slow increased.
Slow was increased. So now if somebody's in it, you can hit them with the next one, which is what I thought they were going to buff that personally, because it felt like you couldn't hit this. People just run out of it. Minimum travel time from 1 and 0.8, and max travel time from 2.5 to 2. So it's faster.
Yep.
Okay. Wow. Cool. This hero is going to be very good. I think this hero is going to be very good. I would be shocked if this hero didn't see a huge win rate increase.
Yeah, I think it's already. I definitely don't think it's a 33% win rate hero. I thought it was much better than that, but people don't really know how to play it yet. So
it's hard. It feels hard to play, to be useful with, honestly.
Yeah. Flesh Golem slow on Undying has been increased by 10% at each level. Flesh Golem strength multiplier has been increased by 10% at each level as well. So I don't know. I thought the old Flesh Golem was good, and this one is really questionable just because this hero is not a right clicker, and half of his ability is right clicking from the Flesh Golem. So I'm kind of curious where they're going with this. I really don't think the Flesh Golem is good anymore, but we'll see. Ursa base armor reduced by 1.
Big nerfs to this hero.
Earthshock slow.
10% at level 1. That is pathetic.
Terrible level 1.
Enrage cooldown increased by 20 seconds at level 1. One of the best things about this hero is the fact that Enrage has such a small cooldown. So
yeah, was the little leap plus the Abyssal Blade Blink Strike really that much of a buff to this hero? I mean,
I guess so. I guess so, man.
Yeah. All right, this hero. I'm a little sad to see these because this hero it's been my secret pocket pick. It's probably the best support in the game.
I was going to make a video about it, honestly.
Or offlaner.
Yeah.
But base agi reduced from 27 to 20, base damage unchanged, but way less armor attack speed. Vengeance or attack range bonus has been reduced as well, and then the talents level 20 talent reduced from 10 to 8 attributes. Or the Vengeance or illusion cast spells. Oh no, they got rid of it at level 20 and moved it to 25.
No. Oh man, that was crazy. It's just like, yeah, you never die. Okay, that's totally balanced.
Yeah, and Magic Missile now, instead of doing 400 at level 25, does 200 bonus damage at level 20. Finally, Void Spirit strength gain has been increased by 0.3 at each level. Astral Step cast point has been reduced, so it's much faster. And Astral Step cast range has been increased by 100 at each level as well.
Nice.
Cool. And that is it for the changes. What do you think, Jenkins? Were these all necessary? Were they good changes?
I think definitely the Snapfire and Void Spirit changes were necessary. Maybe give Ursa a little bit of time in the limelight.
Right. He's been so bad for so long.
Pretty bad for a while, but I guess they're just very confident that he's gonna remain good enough with these changes. We'll see. Maybe we'll see a B patch coming soon. But all in all, I'm really happy with this. I'm happy that Valve is taking from the community. They're taking advice from the community and actually changing these things that people are complaining about. I think this is really good for the game.
Yeah, I'm most impressed with all the changes to the items. I think that's probably where they're going to be focusing. They might miss some like overpowered heroes, like Sven, for example, super broken hero, not touched at all in this patch because they're probably focusing on the items. But I'd expect more nerfs to be coming down the pipeline. I wonder if we're going to see any really big changes, like some sort of removal of not outposts, but like more items being removed, or other sort of like fundamental things that they introduced being reverted.
Maybe
we'll
probably see it. We'll see after the qualifiers. This is probably like a pre-qualifier. We're just making sure things don't break patch, and then after qualifiers, I think we'll probably see something that's just rebalancing and making things competitive if it doesn't look competitive enough.
Yep. All right, guys, let us know what you think about these changes down in the comment section below. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button because we'll be putting out so many videos. We've already put out 7. This will be the 7th or 8th on the patch. So stay tuned. There's a lot more coming because there's a lot more Dota to talk about. See you guys later, and good luck in your games.